good afternoon. This is Speak On It, and it's a live, interactive opportunity for you to call in and speak your mind, ask questions, have comments. Today, I'm very honored to have State Rep LaShawn Ford here. You know, for the last 2 weeks, I've been pushing about the Chicago West Side Heroin and Opioid Task Force. Well, State Rep Ford is the person at the heart of that. I don't think I'm overstating, and he'll tell me if I am. So he has made some time today to come in and address how it came into being and whatever else he want to articulate. So I'm through with that, and then we're going to review some of the videos we saw last week so the state rep can explain to you the urgency of us preventing this epidemic.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Malik.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So thanks for having me. So you had 2 weeks of talking about the West Side Heroin Task Force, which is great. We established that with Loretto Hospital in 2016. So we've had the West Side Heroin Task Force for some time, where we're bringing together different providers that's aiming to help those with substance use disorders. And so our goal is to make sure that we raise awareness about the illegal drugs on the street, to prevent people from beginning to use if we can, and to make sure that we support people that's using. You know, our goal is, you know, we used to say no to drugs. Of course, we could say no to drugs to people that have never started. But people that have the substance use disorder, it's very difficult for us to tell them, you know, just say no. Because they have a disorder, and it's very difficult for them to just say no. So our goal with the Heroin Task Force on the West Side is to make sure that we lead people to care where they want it, and help them have gains in their struggle to overcome their disorder, if that's what they want to do and when they're ready. We know that there are more people overdosing off of fentanyl lace, heroin laced with fentanyl on the West Side than in any parts of the state of Illinois. More people overdose on the West Side of Chicago. And of course, the overdose doesn't mean that it's going to be fatal, but more fatal overdoses also happen on the West Side of Chicago. And so the goal of the Heroin Task Force, the West Side Heroin Task Force, is also to make people aware that there is something called Narcan, naloxone, that people should have in their house, people should have in their cars, people should have, but especially if you know that someone you know is a user. And what it does is, if a person is overdosing, you could give them nasal spray, or you could give them a shot in the leg, and it reverses the overdose for heroin overdoses. And so the goal of the West Side Heroin Task Force, and I appreciate your efforts of helping getting the word out about how important it is to have a Narcan and to be trained in the use of Narcan.
Well, I appreciate it. I was at a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and State Rep LaShawn Ford had about 50 service providers at Hargrove Hospital, and I sit there and I'm being old school. I'm listening, but I remember when I started in 1974 over at Bethany Drug Clinic, it was crazy, and now we see crazy again.
Yeah,
and I was impressed when the state rep made it very clear, just like he did here, that he wants people to know what they can do.
Yeah.
Other than arrange for a funeral.
Right. And that is absolutely right. You know, you don't have to arrange for a funeral. And there you can also receive MAT, medical assistant treatment. You know, the MAT, the medical assistant treatment, is for those that have a disorder and they can't, sort of overcome it. So what they have, the MAT, that you go into a doctor and you could take Suboxone, you could take methadone or Vivitrol. Those are 3 of the drugs that you could take in the place of the street drug. And that means that you're going to be safe. It means that you have an opportunity to take care of your disorder, and at the same time reduce your risk of overdosing from street drugs. And that's critical that we make sure that people are aware of that.
Now, see, and let me be me, and let me just skin this. See, State Rep LaShawn Ford was a teacher. I think once a teacher, always a teacher. I've seen him before young people. He come into the auditorium, he come into the room. Don't nobody even have to tell him he's a teacher. They just automatically know how to act with a teacher.
Right.
So part of what's happening here is that he know how to teach us, you, about some things that others might be talking about. But one of the reasons, like I said last week, I don't get on nobody's bandwagon. But I saw it, and I have seen him over the years, and I know he's straight up about it, and he ain't living over there somewhere else. He know what's happening in the hood. His office is right 3 blocks from where I live, so he right there in the gut of this. And for a person like him to take this to Springfield and speak to them, because they don't know about what's happening on Holman and Chicago Avenue.
Oh, my goodness.
Or from the blue line to the green line, up and down Pulaski. They don't know. He know. And we want you to know that dope do kill hope, but there's still hope. He just gave you some hope by telling you some things. Now, we finna go raw, and what we will do is replay back-to-back the videos we looked at last week. Now, we won't go back to the boy that was on the expressway on the 18-wheeler out there tripping, because I don't know what high that was. He might have just been on a natural high. But I know that State Rep LaShawn Ford will be able to help you understand which high we are looking at. And in the end, when we get to the last one, if we have enough time left, we're going to look at why so many black men are misunderstood. Because something will be said in that last video with that little boy that I missed until I looked at this thing in the review after the show. And we want to talk about that. And I know he is a man and ain't scared to be a man. And then we can understand why it's necessary for him to do this. So we finna hit it. Y'all just pay attention. They're going to be back to back, and then we're going to come back and we're going to be straight.
Next stop, 11th Street, for SEPTA Jefferson Station and Regional Rail Lines, the Pennsylvania Convention Center, and Wilmington.
Don't fall.
Doors are open. 69th Street train.
Don't fall.
Now, would you like to comment on that one? As relates to what you saw and what you think?
I saw someone that had something that made them feel really good, and I saw a person with someone that she cares about, obviously, and that's important that people that use, they should not use alone, because if you overdose, it's critical that you have someone there to administer the Narcan. So that was important. But, I saw a woman that if she saw herself looking like that, she wouldn't be proud.
Right.
And so we have to ask ourselves, what's really wrong with her got her to that point? And that's what the medical assistant treatment is it's behavioral health and medical assistance. So there's something wrong. No one wants to walk around in society like that.
It's true, and I think in part of what I saw, and you all heard me say it last week, part of what I saw and what we heard in the background was the lady that cracked.
Yes.
But the crack was not, I don't think, to be malicious, but it's well known that people on that type of high don't fall.
They don't fall.
They really don't fall.
But you know what? I was going to say, but what was something I think people were laughing at her. They were saying, "Don't fall." They were looking at it and thought it was kind of funny. But whoever that was laughing in the background, I know that they had someone in their family that's just like that.
Just like that. And see, that's the pain of it. And I think part of that laughter is our embarrassment.
Yeah.
Part of that laughter is our helplessness and our impotence, not only with what you saw, but what you got.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Now, the next piece is going to be a little different. Now, we're gonna just play it and let you look at it, and then he will elaborate on it. But you saw the first one. We see that a lot in the community.
Yeah.
And now with light-skinned people like those, it's a little more urgent in the eyes of some people. But the truth is, State Rep LaShawn Ford said he don't care what complexion you are. He don't want you dying
No.
in his district or nowhere else.
Right. Especially when there's help.
Right.
No.
And there is help. Now let's look at the next one here.
Oh.
My name is Miss Harris. Stop. Kicking my fist. And I'm black as hell. And my baby is black. But I don't take it.
What was she saying?
They're trying to make me steal. And I hate.
Okay. So what was she saying?
Well, she was rambling about she had a black baby, and she was just declaring in her rambling. And I think what happens, a lot of times people that smoke meth or some other things, you have this type of things, whatever. But obviously, you hear
Yeah.
the pain.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think that what's so important about everyone has dignity, no matter what. I think everyone has dignity, and they would not want their loved ones to see them like that. No one would want their kids, their nieces, their nephews, their church family to see them like that. And things happen. And so that's why it's important that the West Side Heroin Task Force, and it's important that you allowed the West Side Heroin Task Force to raise the awareness on your show, because there are a lot of people in Chicago right now, a lot of people in your viewing area that is looking to find help.
It's true.
And there is help. You know, it's not like having a cancer that there's no cure for.
Right.
Well, there is probably no cure for a person that has a substance use disorder, because I guess the recovery model is once you have the disorder, you always have it, but that don't mean you have to use. Well, we could put this illegal use, if that's what people want, in a dormant state. Or we could make sure that people that's not ready to give up the use of it, we could protect them. And that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that people are protected that's not ready to give up the use of illegal drugs.
See, that's what we need. We need a politician. Yeah, I said that. Y'all know I say whatever I want to say. You need a politician that's also a person. I know he feel it, because I'm sitting here looking at him, and I'm looking at how he's responding to these situations, and I know he feel the pain that I feel. I know that he knew that was somebody's mama, somebody's daughter, somebody's woman. She is significant to somebody, and the state that she's in put her life at risk, her child's life at risk, because she is trying to get those insects off of her body that this dope have her feeling. Now just think what she did. She came into the store, got into the produce section. Now you know she didn't want to do that.
Right.
But when the man got on the phone, he was calling Popo. And she was going to be a poor thing when they got there and put that taser on her. She's going to be like a piece of fried bacon.
Yeah.
And we see it. But what he's saying, what I saw him say at that meeting, and that's why I'm here, and I really hope he can understand. We got this show, and I told y'all that in the first show. We got this so that the Chicago West Side Heroin Opioid Task Force for this quarter, 13 weeks.
Oh, 13 weeks, good.
Would be able to have different people involved in what State Rep Ford have them doing to come here and tell us
That's perfect.
what they provide, what they are doing, where you can get help. Because these agencies are located in the community. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you where they are, but he can get his people to come here when he's not in town,
Yeah.
and I just sit here and look crazy like I'm looking, and they can sit here and tell you what's up and how you get help. Now we're going to look at this last one. This is by design. The two young people we saw, it's painful, but it's so old. That's an old high they was on. You can't beat that one. It's generational. When I was off into the counseling business with Bethany, they tell you, I'm going to take the methadone, but man, I'm going to do that till I die. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it ain't no shame. They just know it. I used to see their arms be all popped up and all them tracks and woo, woo, woo. But it is what it is. What this lady got, pills are in there somewhere. How they get it to you. These things are hurting people.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a politician, I'm going to keep saying it because now the politicians think it's a big thing to make a drug that I've been telling kids for 35 years, marijuana. If you smoke marijuana, it will kill 3,000 brain cells every time you hit it. So by the time you get out of high school, you'll be retarded as hell and you won't be special. Mm-hmm. But now they say it's okay to smoke.
Well, I tell you, one of the debates that I had during the negotiations of the bill is that the youth are not out of the risk zone until 24.
It's true.
And so my thought was, why are we implementing a drug, marijuana, knowing that it's adult use is fine. I mean, because it's the law and people are going to do it, I guess. But the fact that we know, and so many studies show that you're not out of that risk age until after 24. The brain development, that's when you get your full brain development at 24. And so when we look at all the young people that's smoking the stuff, so early, even they're starting out with a deficiency. A lot of them may have had lead poisoning in the water. A lot of them have had got off to a slow start in life, period, because they didn't have a family that's teaching them to read early. Some of them, and so then when they get to the point where they're smoking marijuana, now you're smoking marijuana on top of all of the other problems that you have.
It's true.
And that's what
It's
we have
true.
a problem.
And that's why, we the Chicago West Side Heroin and Opioid Task Force, it is an urgent need for epidemic, not just in the 8th district, but all over the city.
Yeah.
And we are fortunate, those of us that live in State Rep Ford's district, we're fortunate to have somebody that's really out here networking and pulling people together to bring about awareness of help. Now we're going to look at the last piece and just pay attention.
Hey yo, this nigga, I just caught these niggas smoking douche just now, bro. I walk up on these niggas, they smoking douche, so look at these niggas like. Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey yo! This shit is crazy, dog! On the left side, this shit crazy! Oh!
He's not having a seizure. It's fine. Go on about your business.
If you all could hear it, you would hear this woman telling this man that
This
said
shit
what's wrong with
crazy.
him to mind your own business.
She's very kind to him.
Hey, yo, they was smoking that K2 shit. They was smoking that K2 shit. This shit crazy.
Someone call 911.
All right.
That's what they smoking.
Now, well, yeah, you already know. See, you already know. And State Rep LaShawn Ford already know that I not even care. I'm gonna make it plain how serious it is. See, you ain't gonna see that at some of these little sanitized places you go. I wanted you to see.
Oh, I've never seen anything like that. Definitely. Oh.
And that's the point. The point is when he go to spray, it ain't got nothing to do with this. Harold Davis and them know, I don't do the politics. But this, when I was listening to Mr. Ford talking, I was thinking, because I was trying to figure out how do I fit in this. And then I was trying to tell him some things I had skills. He said, well, that ain't really what I want you to do.
Right.
I want you to bring awareness with what you do.
This is huge.
And my position was, okay, I can do that. But I was a little bit, I said, well, you don't want me to be out standing on the corners out there, boo-boo, bam, that's what I like to do. But I figured I would bring the corner to you.
Yep.
And see, I know he can appreciate that because some of y'all ain't seeing what you're going to see here. Some of you all don't need to see no more than this, but you do need to know who the players are with the Chicago West Side Heroin and Opioid Task Force, and Mr. Ford is the man to bring them to you. So people like that little boy, that woman, and that other couple can get help.
Man, I'm telling you, Dr. Malik, I've never seen that young man, anything like that young man. That is something.
That K2.
That K2. Well, you were helping with the K2 when we did everything we can to shut down the sales of K2 on the West Side. West Side Health Authority, me and you and a few others. I think HSI, we went over there on the corner of Madison and Cicero, Mandela. And we had a press conference over there because we know that people were selling K2 to the young people. And what the K2 actually does, it's rat poisons in some cases, and it actually give brain hemorrhage. And so I don't know, that young man is...
He threw.
Yeah.
Talking about a hemorrhage. He had a hemorrhage that you don't recover from.
And then he was hitting his head on the ground.
Right.
I mean, he didn't even know the pain that he was inflicting on himself.
That's true. And I think one of the things, with Speak On It and with this program, we realize that from 5 to 5:30, you ain't at the house looking at cable. And so many of you all say you can't, you don't have cable no more, you got DirecTV. But you can always go to YouTube and you can always see these shows because Can TV put these shows on. This show will be on YouTube Monday or Tuesday, and you'll be able to see it if you hear about it. If not, we pushing it. We doing the Facebook thing and all of that.
So I see what you name it. Could you name it the West Side Heroin?
We can put that up there if that's what you want.
Yeah. And
You get that, Omari?
Can you get the West Side Heroin Task Force back there too?
Omari will do that.
Okay.
He'll do that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your 13 weeks.
I'm telling you, I think this is amazing.
Well, what you
and
did,
then you got like you said, I didn't even think about that. Right. It's being recorded, YouTube,
right,
and that's going on the website.
It's
all
true.
of the shows documenting this.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
And see, once you said what you wanted, it clicked, and I got on the phone right after that, and I called down here, and Miss Sylvia said, well, we just had a cancellation.
Oh, wow.
So you make your move and you get down here, woo, woo, woo. So here it is.
Yep.
So this is the third week. So there were some people at Hartgrove, like the lady said they had given away 80,000 of those Narcan.
Chicago Recovery Alliance. If you ever need Narcan kits, they can help you.
See that?
Yeah.
And you got some other people that were there. I know that Mr. Dew from HSI was there.
Yes.
Doctor, and it's a lot of people, and the commander from the 11th district. So Brad Cummins was there from the Austin Voice, him and other people, and we had Task there. Yeah. Task has been in the fight for a very long time. And we have the state of Illinois Health Department, Public Health. We have the city health department there.
So, you know,
Yeah, and what's gonna happen? And now I see we got a minute. And last week I walked out here too early. And they told me, "Dude, you wait till we tell you to get out." You know, ooh, I didn't appreciate that at all. Come checking me like that. Say, dude, stay in your seat until we tell you to leave. You standing up here, we got this thing running, and you looking crazy. You got any closing words?
you know, I'm just very grateful that we're going to raise the awareness about the fact that people that want help, that there is help. Everyone should have Narcan. If you know someone that has a substance use disorder, it can help save lives.
Okay. And what's going to happen is that, like I said, the next 10, I'm sure that State Rep Ford would probably be making some other appearances, but I know he's busy. But in his absence, some other people may or may not be
Yeah,
here.
so we're gonna get you
You're
a
gonna
list
schedule
of,
some
yes,
people.
yes, this
All
is
right.
the real deal.
All right, good enough. Until then.
Thank you.
All right, sir.
All right.